Chapter 5, Toward Independence. When is it necessary for citizens to rebel against their government? 5.1, Introduction. An almost full moon cast a pale light over Boston on April 18, 1775, but the night was anything but quiet. Mounted on Brown Beauty, one of the fastest horses in Massachusetts, Paul Revere woke up the countryside with alarming news. British troops stationed in Boston were on the move. They had orders to march to the nearby town of Concord and seize weapons the colonists had stored there. This was news patriots had been waiting for. Patriots, also called Whigs, and I don't mean the kind you wear on your head. It's spelled WHIGS, a form of government, were Americans who believed the colonies had the right to govern themselves. On hearing Revere's warning, patriots around Concord grabbed their muskets and prepared to meet the British troops. The same news filled Loyalists, also called Tories, with dread. Loyalists were colonists who felt a deep loyalty to Great Britain. They saw themselves as faithful subjects of the king. They were horrified by the idea of taking up arms against British troops. How did colonists come to be so divided in their feelings about the British? Most Americans were content with British rule in the early 1700s. In this chapter, you will learn what happened to change the relationship between Great Britain and the colonies. The story begins in the 1750s when Great Britain and the colonies fought a war against the French and their Indian allies. The French and Indian War left Great Britain with huge debt and a vast new empire to protect. To solve its problems, the British government passed new laws that tightened its control of the colonies. Some of these laws also placed new taxes on the colonists. Colonists were stunned. For the most part, they had been able to make their own laws and determine their own taxes. Suddenly, Great Britain was changing the rules. It wasn't right. The colonists protested. In this chapter, you will see how these feelings led many colonists to consider rebelling against their government. As you can see from the picture you've been looking at, it does depict some colonists that are trying to tear down the statue of King George, and they do ultimately succeed. And so why would some colonists have celebrated the dismantling of a statue of a British king? That's a question for you to answer.